Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I really want to reread. So I love rereading books, which I don't do as often as I want to because I guess I have a lot of new releases that I want to get to, or like even backlist releases that I haven't read yet, so new to me books. But I just think there's something so special about rereading books, and I think a book that can hold up on reread is like really special. And I love it when like the more times you reread a book, the better it gets. Which is true of some series that I love rereading. Like I have a couple of series that I just like can't stop rereading. I guess the first series that I'm always in need of a reread is Gideon and Harrow. I've already reread these 3 times, but I love it, so I'm gonna reread them again, obviously, at some point in the probably near future. So yeah, these are just an iconic series to reread, and they just get better and better on each reread. Like you have more sense of what's going on. Firstly, the character banter is just impeccable, and you just love the characters so much that it just, yeah, so I'd highly recommend rereading these. In my opinion, they just get better on each reread. Okay, then another series that I love rereading is the Shattered Realms series by Cindy Williams-Chimer. I've also reread these about 3 times, maybe 4, I can't quite remember. But I don't know why I love rereading this series so much, but just like the characters have such a special place in my heart. It's probably one of my favourite YA series, if not my favourite YA series. Like I just love the dragons and like all the like setting of the world. It's very like mountain, sort of Austrian-y. Yeah, so I just love that series, so I will reread that one probably like once a year for the next however many years. But yeah, I adore that one. So they're the books that I've like already reread, but some series that I actually want to reread like soonish. So the first series that I really want to reread is the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin, because I feel like it's been a while since I read these, like maybe nearly 2 years. And I feel like I've sort of forgotten a lot of it. And also now I've read like all of N.K. Jemisin's other books, I feel like I can appreciate her writing a lot more and like what she's trying to achieve. And I don't know, because I feel like the first time I read these, I was still relatively new to adult fantasy, so I feel like quite a bit of it probably went over my head. But I'm really excited to reread these and be back in the world of the master, because yeah, these were the first N.K. Jemisin books I read, so I am very excited to read these. And these just, N.K. Jemisin always like excels on the themes, and in the first one we're kind of following Essen, and she is going after her daughter who's been taken by like her father, and her son has just been murdered. And also there's this like devastating ecological event that's just happened, like this massive rift has opened in the world and there's like lava and it's like the end of the world. And this is so she's going on like a journey. And we're also following 2 other POVs. So we have Cyanite, and she is she works for this, I've forgotten what it's called, it's been so long, the kind of empire. She's one of the, I think it's the Origini, and they have these like powers, they can like control the earth. So she like works for the people who like control the Origines, and so she's like on a mission. And we also follow Demaya, who is a young girl, and she's just discovered that she's an Origini, so she's kind of being brought up in this like academy thing. So yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot of exploration of themes, especially around kind of racism, and like with the Origines, they're kind of sort of parallels there. So yeah, I'm very excited to reread this series and see what I get out of it, because I feel like there's so much to get on reread. And see some of the foreshadowing as well, because I feel like there might be some in the 5th season once you know the ending. Obviously I'm always wanting to reread the whole Cosmere, but one in particular that I really want to reread is Warbreaker, because this is probably one of my like favourites. And I love Syrian to Sebron, who's like the main relationship. And I don't know, I feel like there's just probably a lot of like Cosmere tidbits, because I feel like the characters in Warbreaker, they show up in the Stormlight Archive as well. So I just want to like get more, I guess, history for them. I also really want to know the drama that went down with Vasha, Vivenna and Nightblood, like pre-Oathbringer, but or even pre-Stormlight in general. But yeah, so this one we're following these 2 sisters, Ciri and Vivenna, and Ciri basically gets sold to the God King, who to like appease this treaty for war, so she gets sold like as a bride. But when she gets there, the God King is not quite what he seems, and like there's all these mysteries in this like court of gods. So Ciri's trying to like sort that out, and then Vivenna kind of follows her to the city to try and like rescue her sister, and she sort of end up embroiled in this like rebellion in the city that's going on, and she gets tangled up with these mercenaries. Yeah, so there's like a lot going on. We're also following some other POVs. So we have Lightsong, who's one of the gods in the court of gods, and he's kind of he's having this crisis because like he doesn't believe he's a god. So he has quite a lot of like philosophical discussions, and he's a very funny character as well. And then we also have Vasher, who's like this grumpy swordsman, and his sword Nightblood, and Nightblood is like this psychopathic talking sword who's so funny. I love Nightblood. So yeah, it's just a really good book. Okay, another series that I really want to reread is The Rise of Kyoshi and The Shadow of Kyoshi, because I love Kyoshi and Ranji so much, the two main characters in the series, and I just love the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm gonna sniff these because the smell makes me really nostalgic, because I bought The Rise of Kyoshi when we were on holiday in Canada, and I remember reading it like on the plane on the way home, so it just makes me really nostalgic. But yeah, so I can't wait to reread these. Kyoshi's a great character. So we're following Avatar Kyoshi, who's kind of a very minor character in the Avatar: The Last Airbender TV series, but she gets her own like whole backstory in these. And she's just kind of trying to like find her way as the Avatar, because she doesn't realise she's the Avatar at first. Everyone else thinks it's someone else. So that kind of creates a bit of conflict. And then Ranji, her like bodyguard, is so great. She's so like fiery and cute, and oh yeah, so I love them. And I can't wait to reread, because just being back in the world, I feel like I need to rewatch either Avatar or Korra as well. I feel like I've been missing some Avatar from my life. So yeah, that's those. I really want to reread the David books, because I feel like it's been a while since I read, especially City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper, and I just love that series so much, and like I want to just reread and like get more out of it. And with Empire of Gold as well, I feel like I want to reread that with having just read City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper, so like you have the full like context. And there's no reason I want to reread it other than I love it. And also I feel like there's a lot of the series, especially there's so much politics, that I feel like you would really get a lot out of reread. Like it's not something that you'd be kind of bored by rereading. You just like, yeah, I feel like it's like one of those comfort rereads. Although sometimes I do like reread romance just because I like the comfort, even though it's like you just get out of it what you got the first time. Whereas sometimes with fantasies, there's like loads of intricate politics and you pick up on loads of new things. But yeah, with romance sometimes it's comforting. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that with David Bad, but that is one where there's lots of complex politics that I feel like you'll pick up on a lot more on reread. I think especially in the first one, I'm quite interested to see if there's much like foreshadowing for later events. So yeah, that's another series that I'm very excited to reread. Okay, so another series that I really want to reread is the Bear and the Nightingale series. So we have The Bear and the Nightingale, The Girl in the Tower, and The Winter of the Witch. This is another one which has been ages since I read them. And I really remember loving them, especially the last two. And I was going to try and reread them for like, there was a read along recently, but I just sort of missed that. But also I just love these books, or I remember loving them. And there's a lot of history and sort of like complex characters and stuff, so I feel like there'll be a lot to get out of them on reread. And just the atmosphere is like impeccable. I always love like wintry settings, even when it's not winter. I feel like I'm a very like wintry girl at heart. Like I love autumn and winter, they're my favourite seasons. I don't really like summer, so I feel like rereading like the wintry books in the summer will like give me a bit of strength. Yeah, so I'm just really excited to get to these. I feel like I'm not going into a lot of detail for these synopses. Maybe I should. So we're following Vasaya in The Bear and the Nightingale. Just in the first one, we're really just following her growing up, and she sort of has this ability to like talk to these little spirits. There's like a house spirit and various other spirits, and so she kind of has these like powers. She's like a low-key witch. And basically the family gets a new stepmother who's very like religious and looks down on all these like spirits and sort of like peasant magic almost. So that's kind of where the conflict comes from. And then there's also this so the Winter King Morozoko, sort of meets with Messiah, and also his like counterpart, the bear, who's like the god of chaos, and they sort of get involved in the story, and they have a bigger role like in the later books as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this series and I'm excited to reread it. Okay, another book I really want to reread is The Bone-Shard Daughter, and I don't know why I have this one on my list, but I feel like I have this desire to reread it. I don't know why. I guess maybe I just want more Mephi in my life. Mephi's this really cute little like otter kitten thing who's one of the characters. But also I feel like there was probably a bit I missed the first time, and I just kind of want to like enjoy the world again and like get a bit more grasp on like the magic system, and especially before the next one in the series comes out. And I just really like Javis, one of the characters. He's like this grumpy smuggler type character. I don't know, I guess I've just been feeling the like desire to reread, so I thought I would add this one to the list. But yeah, just the magic is so cool, and like the world is really creative. It's like this, I think it's the series' name is like the Drowning Empire, and so these like islands sort of keep drowning, and it's really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to reread. And then a couple of audiobooks that I really want to reread, so I don't have them physically because they're in my Audible library, but I mean, I guess David Bad was one of them. But I love rereading audiobooks. I don't know why, I feel like it's my favourite like medium to reread books in. Yeah, I want to reread some of the Keeper of the Lost Cities books, because like the last one comes out later this year. I'm not sure if I want to reread like the whole series before then, but maybe just reread my favourites, because they're just like a very comforting middle grade series. So I feel like I really want to reread those. It's one of my favourite middle grade series. I just love the main character, like Sophie. She's a really great like classic middle grade protagonist. And the other characters as well. I love Keith. And just this story and how it unfolds. It's like the elfin world is really cool, and like the magic is cool. We learn more. Like Sophie seems to get a new magical power every book. And there's all these like secret societies and like mysteries going on. So I'm really intrigued to see like how the series wraps up, but also I want to reread some so I remember a bit more going into the finale. And they're just so much fun. I feel like they're very comforting, like reread. Another book I really want to reread is The Martian by Andy Weir, and this book is just so much fun. We're following Mark Watney, who kind of gets stranded on Mars, so he's like has to survive on Mars by himself, and also at the same time we're following a bit NASA back on Earth as they're trying to like come up with a scheme to save him. But this book is just, the humour is so funny. Like Mark Watney is a great character. And the audiobook is really good. I feel like it really adds to the story. So I'm just really excited to like see the book again. Just have that fun experience again. And I've watched the movie now as well, so I can like compare them. But yeah, I just feel like I need Mark Watney and his love of potatoes back in my life. So yeah, so that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments one book you really want to reread. I would love to know, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope you're all having a really great day, and I will see you next time.